All right, before we get stuck in, do me a quick favour. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join us here on UK Now. Trust me, you'll want to follow this one to the end because tempers in Parliament ran very hot. So, let's set the scene. The chamber is tense and an MP stands up, voice sharp with fury. He doesn't mince his words. Labour, he says, has cooked up a remedial order that could, wait for it, make it easier for Gerry Adams and his old associates to sue the British taxpayer. And not only that, but in doing so, it would throw British Army veterans, many of them recruited from those very same red wall seats Labour fought so hard to win back, straight under the bus. Are you really pressing ahead with this madness, he demands? Are you seriously doing Gerry Adams a favour at the expense of the soldiers who stood against him? Yes or no? Now, you'd think that kind of direct question might get a direct answer, but this is Westminster after all. The minister rises, shakes his head and fires back. You're missing the point, he says. You're trying to divide this house. You're trying to pit veterans against veterans, families against soldiers, and it's got to stop. His defence is that the government's aim isn't betrayal at all, but rather to get to the truth. He paints a picture. Imagine being the family of someone who lost their life, never knowing the full story. Don't they deserve answers? And then he shifts the lens again. Imagine being a veteran, as he reminds the House he himself is, and knowing there are protections in place so that the process of uncovering the truth doesn't become a form of punishment in itself. That, he insists, is the balance they're trying to strike. But here's the catch. While the minister is promising a good solution, plenty in the chamber weren't convinced. Because from the outside looking in, it feels like Labour's scheme risks tipping the scales in favour of people like Adams while leaving those who served Britain's armed forces exposed. And this is where the fury comes in. To critics, it's not just a technical tweak of the law, it's symbolic. It's about whether the government stands shoulder to shoulder with veterans or whether it's bending over backwards to appease those who once stood against them. So, where does that leave us? On one side, the call for truth and accountability. On the other, the fear that veterans will be left carrying the blame while former enemies profit. The battle lines are drawn, and the question now is whether Labour can convince the country that this isn't betrayal, or whether this remedial order will be remembered as the moment they turned their backs on the very people who risked everything in Britain's name. And now over to you. Should the government prioritise uncovering the truth for families, even if it risks veterans being dragged through the courts? Or should the protection of those who served always come first, no matter what? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading through them. If you've made it this far, you know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to UK Now for more straight-talking breakdowns from Parliament, and share this with someone who cares about our armed forces. Because trust me, this story isn't going away anytime soon.